Hello everyone, welcome to Yadnya Investment Academy. In our last video on Gold Monetization Scheme, we discussed in detail about various features of the scheme. In this video, we are going to talk about how to open an account for gold monetization, and we will also touch upon the pros and cons of this scheme. Let's now discuss how to open a gold monetization scheme account. The customer first has to go to any bank to create the gold savings account. The nature of account would be similar to normal zero balance savings bank account. If you already have a savings bank account with that bank, then you just need to fill a form for gold savings account and you are done. But if you do not have a savings bank account, then you have to go through the customer KYC form, where you need to provide your address proof, ID proof and passport size photograph as well. Once your account is created, the banks will give you a list of depositors, also called as Collection and Purification Testing Centres. You can choose any of the mentioned collection centers and go and deposit your gold to them. You can bring your gold in any of the form, whether it is jewelry, bar, coin, etc. Collection center will carry out a detailed assessment of your gold in front of you. Once the verification is successfully done, they will issue a receipt for the gold quantity, which is signed by the authorized signatories of their center. Collection center will also inform bank about the quantity of gold you have deposited with them. Customer then should go to bank with his or her receipt copy and get the certificate of deposit from the bank, which will have the details about the quantity of gold deposited as well as the tenure of the deposit. So this is a 6-step process to create a gold monetization account with the bank. Now let's discuss a little bit about what happens to your gold after you submit it. Collection center sends the golds to refineries, which melts it and prepare a standard bars and then store it in their vaults. Banks, refineries and collection centers typically have a tripartite arrangement which is legally binded, and they work in a partnership mode. Now banks can sell your gold or give this gold for loan as well. Typically in a lending operation, the jeweler reach out to bank and create a gold loan account and apply for a gold loan of approved quantity, which banks then has to tell the refinery to send the gold to jeweler, and refinery then sends the gold based on the bank information to the jeweler. Let's touch upon the pros and cons of this scheme. Looking at the pros first. Gold remains a dead asset in Indian families. Even when the family is in need of money, they despise selling of gold jewelries owing to traditional beliefs and hopes for price hikes. But with this scheme, apart from the appreciation of the gold, this scheme also earns interest for you. We have discussed about the interest rates in our last video. Going to the second advantage, India is the largest importer of the gold in the world, importing around 1000 tons of gold every year. Some estimates have shown that almost 20,000 tons of gold is lying with Indian citizens in their bank locker as well as in their homes. This gold is not getting monetized and is not part of the money circulation in the economy. This scheme, the government has tried to monetize this gold. It will not only help us to reduce our dependence on gold imports, but also help us to increase our foreign exchange reserves and strengthening our currency. The third advantage is that our domestic gold market would benefit largely from this scheme. There would be no shortage of gold metals and jewelries, which will help in reduction in gold imports and hence a little bit reduction in gold prices due to saving of gold import duty as well as transportation cost. This scheme provides a lot of tax benefits. Your deposits are exempt from wealth tax, capital gains tax and income tax on interest received on the deposited gold, which makes this scheme very attractive as compared to physical gold, as in physical gold you may have to give the wealth tax as well as capital gains tax. Fifth advantage is that your deposits are very secured with the bank and you don't have to worry about bank robberies or home thefts. If you take your physical gold to a local jeweler, there are chances that he or she may not value your gold correctly. Whereas in this scheme, the purity of gold is guaranteed as all the collection and purity centers are government certified. Now let's move to some disadvantages of this scheme. The first one is that once you deposit your jewelry in this scheme, you cannot get your jewelry back in the same condition. You can only get the equivalent cash or equivalent gold bars. Second big disadvantage of this scheme is that there is an involvement of income tax office to know the source of your gold. So if you deposit a large amount of gold in this scheme, the income tax authorities may come and ask for the source of this gold. Third disadvantage is that there is a lock-in period in this scheme, especially for long and medium term deposits. The last and maybe the biggest disadvantage of this scheme is that Indians are emotionally attached with their gold, and they may not want to part away with it. Even though this scheme is providing the extra interest rate, it is more secure, it has tax benefit and all the other benefits which we talked. With this we conclude our topic, gold monetization scheme. If you have any question, please do write in the comment section below. Wish you a great time ahead.